Can't even hang on. Didn't have my mic ready. Already pressed record. That's how excited I am for not doing this episode.
Tell me about it. I'm nervous.
I'm going to start, Jeff, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Full name. I did it again. I don't care. I'm going to do it for the rest of my life.
Carry on.
Yes. You know what name's going to be written on your tombstone? Jeff, right? I'll say it at your, I'm going to do so many things at your funeral.
I'm going to put it on I'm going to put your name and your phone number.
Oh, with a QR code. Yeah. Okay. Today's episode. I am, you know what? Here's the way I'm going to start this. Right now, there's a Canadian election on.
Yeah.
You're liberal and I'm PC.
Don't say that.
Hold on. You're PC and I'm liberal.
Still don't say that.
Right. The point is,
I get it.
Let's take each other's standpoint. Just Jeff, I'm throwing you a hypothetical right now. Can we have a conversation about this? Are you comfortable where we just devil's advocate with each other?
I think we are.
Yeah.
But in general, no.
But even if we had to, if like you and in high school, can we have a debate and each take a side and let's say all right, that's good. Two things you don't talk about at a dinner table: politics and religion.
Yeah.
Here's another one for you. You're Catholic and I'm Baptist. No, I'm an atheist and you're Judas.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about that today? Can you and I civilly have a conversation about it? Do you think we would lose viewers having a standpoint back and forth like this?
I don't know if we'd lose, but I think there's going to be some division.
Let me ask you this. If we take the standpoint, if I want to have a religious conversation and I'm atheist and you believe in God and we want to just have that conversation like Ricky Gervais and Stephen Colbert on that thing, do you think that we would lose viewers or that we'd get done this episode and friends of ours would say we can't be friends anymore?
It's very possible.
You think so?
Not us.
No, but in general, like, is it that controversial?
I think so.
Okay, now
I think so.
Here's where I'm going with this, though, is they're both controversial. Thanks for completely throwing me under the bus there. Do you know what I want to talk about on today's episode? And it's it's more risque than politics and religion.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about how do we do it? I'm scared to say it on air, Jeff Bright. That's how bad it is.
Don't be scared because this is what we're all about. This is what our channel is.
I want to talk about divorce rates in their 40s and the comparison to the change of life. I'm not saying the change of life is one sex or another. I will leave that for our listeners to decide.
Okay, I see where you're going.
But let me throw this way. There are many, many movies out there about men who have a midlife crisis. They buy the Harley Davidson or the Corvette. They get a 20-year-old girlfriend. They go on and do their own thing. For what reason? Right? Well, I won't even say for what. There's a lot about that. There's an equal or greater amount of movies about women who may become unreasonable about the age of 45 to 55.
That's not a thing.
Menopause. Hashtag menopause. Let's get into it. We started this podcast months ago. We've started it 5 years ago. We didn't even know we just weren't recording our conversations. And all of our conversations are around equalness, fairness, struggles in life. We take
both sides, yeah.
We take both sides. No. We always genuinely play. And the unfair thing here is, if you and I were talking about religion right now, and you were extremely Catholic and I was extremely atheist, you know what you and I do with each other? And we do this a lot, honestly. I would look at you and say, I need you to take my side and I'll take yours. Yeah. We would play devil's advocate. We would try and see the other person's point of view. We're unable to do that in relationships.
Well, I think in general public, it seems like anymore nowadays.
It's passé, it's risque, we can't talk about it, it's controversial.
What? Oh,
controversial.
That's a weird word.
That is a weird word.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think this topic, essentially, if we're going to jump into what I think we're going to jump into, because...
Oh, I'm scared jumping into it. What's that say for us right now? We can talk about politics. We can talk about religion. We can talk about almost anything, you and I.
Well, we're going to let the audience decide.
We're just going to talk about it. And the fact that we even think we could get in trouble is... warning sign number one.
You know what? I don't think we're going to get in trouble. I think we're going to be corrected and possibly attacked.
I love getting challenged. I love getting attacked. I don't want to get ridiculed. I don't want to be told, by all means, prove me wrong.
Okay, so this is something that we've had sent a bunch of times to us to dissect.
Oh, the TikTok video that started
videos.
this conversation. Well, you want to play that video? Can you?
So-
Can you bring it up, Jimmy?
I'm good. We're gonna play the audio of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about the video. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
We don't know what's happening up here, our sound booth.
Yeah, well, I might be able to do something there, but we'll see. We're
Is
just
Jimmy-
gonna play.
I think
we're just
Jimmy-
gonna play.
Jimmy
Just
has
gonna
this way. Chave is over. Jimmy's off. Chave's on this week. Chave, throw this video up.
Oh, frig. We're not doing the video.
Damn. Throw this sound bite up.
No, it was right there. Now it's gone.
It doesn't look like Chave's doing it if it's in your phone.
They're
He
not
just
doing
messes
it.
up.
They're not doing it.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Wrong button. 3. Okay, we got it. Ready?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen fast. It's gonna happen furious. We're just gonna listen to it. I think it's maybe a minute long,
Sure. We'll listen.
and we'll kind of go from there and see. Hopefully, the audio comes over good.
Okay.
No woman wants to be a bitch at first. No woman wants to be a bitch. Women become bitches because of systemic societal oppression, bullshit, and you not listening to me, Steve, but no woman wants
Steve's always the asshole.
to be a bitch. What we wanted was equity. What we wanted was safety. What we wanted was fair pay. And instead, they put lead in our tampons and they took our pockets.
I don't get that.
It's
We wanted to be heard. You made us this way. No woman wants to be a bitch. No woman wakes up and sets her morning intention to bitch. No girl, when she's little, is like, when I grow up,
I'm having a
I'm
hard
gonna
time.
be a liability. No woman wants to be a bitch. Never forget, women are special. We are sacred. There is something so magical about us, and that is why people get violent and mean
You can pause it
and
right there.
horrific
Nope, we're
when
almost
they
done.
cannot
God damn it.
own a woman, because everybody wants a woman. Everybody wants to fuck a woman, be a woman, have a woman, appropriate the way a woman is, dress like a woman, have a mother, have a sister. You ever meet a man that has no women in his life? He's weird. Everyone wants a woman.
Okay, before you say anything, not true. In any way, shape, or form.
Is your blood boiling right now?
Oh.
Mine is a little.
It is.
She said
You know-
something. She said something there that was one word out of that whole thing. It was a comedian. She got all the women laughing because they can relate.
Yeah.
It's good.
And this could be a parody, but we don't.
It is a bit of a parody,
Yeah.
honestly. You know, are you listening to me,
But
Steve?
is it?
They don't talk like that, but it is. But
Yeah.
that's what parodies are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One word I took out of all of that. We haven't discussed this previously, and here's the word: appropriations. She said appropriations. You hear her?
No.
Okay. This is where I'm going to
I'll
go
go
with that.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, we can watch it at a different time. They can reverse or rewind or whatever they want to do. And here's where I'm going with that is, it's controversial. And you know what? If we're getting into it, let's get into it. We brought over a whole bunch of, when I say we, 200 years ago, we brought over a bunch of slaves on a boat.
Jesus. Murphy.
I know, buddy.
Why are we going this route?
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
In the year 2000 and something, a whole bunch of African Americans got together and said, we are suing for appropriations. My great grandfather was working on a
I didn't think she said
farm in Mississippi. She did. I watched it. As soon as it hit me, I'm like, bam, I'm talking about this. Cool. That happened
Oh, I see what
100
you're
years
saying.
ago.
Okay.
And absolutely, you know what? We did wrong by you. That was a horrible time in life.
I didn't.
That was, you didn't. No,
You
you
didn't.
didn't. And I
Yeah.
didn't. But why then do you have to pay back the great great grandchildren of some
Yeah.
guy who worked on a cotton farm? That was a horrible time, Jeff Bright. I don't condone it. It was awful.
Yeah. No, for
If
sure.
my great grandfather did it, I would probably say that's what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's my
In
job.
today's view,
That's a whole different episode.
not 1,000
But
years ago.
I would not condone it. I would not be happy about it. I also wouldn't give up my mass fortune to make appropriations for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't me that did it.
Yeah.
You know, no different than, you know, like that's a horrible thing. And here's my thought. Bear with me.
No, I
and
agree.
I'm going to get
Yep.
there fast. This morning, coincidentally, I watched an old John Wayne film. It was from 55. It was a cowboy western. There was a little boy on the farm, and this John Wayne took his wife, put her down over his knee, spanked her 4 times, and said, "Listen up,
The wife?
woman."
Yeah,
The
oh.
wife. And the little boy, or no, it was a little girl, and looked and said, "Mommy, that means he loves you." And she got this, probably Betty Davis or something. She got this smile on her face, and she's like, "You really do love me." And they made out.
The dad in the
The little girl looked at the mom who was getting
Yeah,
beaten
oh, okay.
by her, literally physically attacked by her husband, and said, "Mommy, that means he loves you." And I'm like, holy shit, put that on the air today.
That's what she was taught. Yeah.
Like, but that was,
Yeah, that's a thing though. That is for sure.
It was a thing. That is completely inappropriate behavior.
Is
No different than Amistad,
it? Is it?
which is the big boat that brought over all the slaves from Nigeria and whatnot, is what I'm saying. These things absolutely, Jeff Bright, were true 75 to 100 years ago.
Yeah.
They happened. They were reality. They were on TV. They were glorified by Hollywood. Do we believe in them today?
Why
No.
do they hang on that?
So bear with me, because I know you're going to see where I'm
Bearing.
going with this is, to this day, there are Black Lives Matters where there are black people out there who look and say, white man is bad because they made us slaves. No, we didn't. No, those people are long dead.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
you're holding on to that mentality of, holy crap.
Because
there
nothing
are-
you can do.
Right. There are still a group of, and it's controversial, there's still a group of feminists out there who are like, no, equal pay, equal rights, equal blah, blah, blah. So many more women make so much more money than I do.
Absolutely.
There's no
There's no
GM
question
for
about it.
Cami plant out there where women get paid less than men.
The
It doesn't
CEO of
happen.
SpaceX
Oh my God.
is female.
It did happen.
Yeah.
No different than slavery happened, but it
Yep.
doesn't happen anymore. It's rare. It's very, very rare, as is racism or slavery.
Yeah.
To that point, racism is not rare, nor is feminism. Those are still very valid things.
Yeah, for sure.
But equal pay, that's rare anymore. That doesn't happen.
I have an
That's
issue
a
with
tough one. That's a
that.
whole different
Yeah.
episode. So I don't want to.
No, but
I don't want to get caught up on that point. What I do want to get caught up on is let it go. We're equal.
Oh my God. That statement alone is going to cause havoc.
Sure.
Now,
I don't care.
on the appropriation thing, okay, let it go. I agree.
It's the stigma.
There's nothing you can do with it. There's nothing you can do about it. Like it's not my fault. It's not my father's fault.
Can
Probably
I ask
my
you,
grandparents.
have you
or his
ever
fathers.
put your wife over your knee and spanked her because she was misbehaving? I hope this is one of our clips.
Please subscribe to our Patreon
I hope this is
to
one
hear
of our
the whole
clips.
story.
The look you gave me just then. It's so ridiculous of a
If her
thought.
parents are watching, no. If my boys are watching, yeah. No, that would never be
Imagine.
that'd never be a thing.
Just imagine. It's not even a thing.
Does it happen? Probably, for sure.
Huh.
Because there's still a lot of old souls in this world, mostly people who are racist that hold on to that sort of a thing. I don't think that's a part of it. That's a part of that skit that was just played. My first thought was, originally listening to that, growing up as a kid on the playground, do you know how many bitchy girls there was?
Tell me.
A lot.
Okay.
You should know.
Yeah.
On your playground, was there not bitchy girls?
I can't even believe you brought this up. We're so in tune on the same wavelength, but please finish your thought.
Was there?
Yes.
Absolutely. So that would have
Yeah.
been anywhere like mid grade, like public school grades.
Yeah.
Anywhere from
Learned behavior.
probably grade 3 on.
Sure.
We'll say. So grade 3. So I have an issue with her saying like that's not something that's been learned by men have created this in women. I saw that as a kid. Now taking my kid to school, you can see the bitchy girls. They're making fun of all the other kids. They're standing around, prancing around with their Stanley cups at 8 years old.
A lot of 8-year-old girls have Stanley Cups. You're
They
right.
do. They friggin' do.
Yet you mean Yeti? Oh,
Or whatever.
Not hockey Stanley Cup.
No.
You're Yetis. You're
Sorry.
Stanleys.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
God,
I got
you're
you.
so,
I
you're
got
so old.
you.
You're so out of touch. How old are you?
Cap.
It's a thing. It's a no cap.
That's
yeah.
cap.
You skibbity doo. I don't even know what that means. But it's a thing when you see these girls coming in, you're like, they have this. It's like a learn, like you said, it's a
Learned
taught
behavior.
trait. Now,
Yeah.
maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a learned behavior. Maybe they just genuinely, get whatever.
I'm going to ask. Let me ask you a question. You brought up the school hood
That's
thing,
a
and I
lie.
really like this. So let me ask you this. I'm loving this conversation. It's two guys chatting. When you were, I'm gonna ask you to go back to when you were 8 years old, just 8.
Bad time.
Okay. Oh, really?
Was
You
that
didn't
grade
have friends?
3? No, I was bullied. So I was really bullied as a grade kindergarten to grade 7, 6.
Is it because you were stupid?
No, that's fat.
Oh, that sucks.
Short and fat. Now I'm tall and fat. I got a little more.
Let's avoid
Grout now, but-
that part of it. Let's just talk about the friends you did have, like the cousins or whatever. If you were, let me ask you, as a boy, as a 8 to 10-year-old boy, somewhere in there, if you were playing and having a good day without bullies, what were you playing?
Whatever.
Let me just say yes or no.
Yeah.
Did you play Rambo? Like, did you shoot guns in those
with
little
boys?
plastic
For
Uzis
sure.
and whatnot in the dirt
Pew
hills?
pews, yeah.
Yeah, pew pews. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Look at you. I love it. You were just right on the pew pew.
Pew
thing.
pew.
Ray Johnson. # Ray Johnson. Whatever his name is.
That is.
The true stories that say pew pew all the time.
Oh.
Okay. Did you, so you played war games?
Yeah.
Did you play like
Cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and Indians?
Mhm.
Cops and Robbers, Smokey and the Bandit. Did you play like hide and seek and tag?
Played doctor.
Well, hold on. No. Just,
don't
just
go
the
there
boys.
yet.
Just you and the boys.
Yeah, just that. Like
All right.
this boy
Got
stuff.
it. Boy stuff. Now, let me ask you this. 8-year-old girls. Well, no. I'm going to stay on the boys. Did you ever, with you and your bestie, let's call him Steve, right? Did you and Steve ever play white picket fence? Did you play let's get married and what dress you were wearing?
No.
Did you ever brush the hair of any dolls of any kind?
Probably.
You're an idiot.
At home. I'm bored.
Yeah.
But then I would
You
decapitate
got your
them.
Bo and Luke,
No,
Bo
which-
and Luke Duke, and you're shaving their hair.
I would probably decapitate them and then
Yeah.
stick a pin through
I
their
think where
eyes.
I'm going with this
Yeah.
is
No, I would never have
it
done
was
that.
societally bred into us. Boys just if we were raised in the forest without any kind of social media, without any kind of TV or anything, it's just natural
You would genuinely-
hunter gatherers.
You would genuinely, go to that.
We genuinely
I
go
think
to
so.
that, right?
Well, that's a whole other movement we're going to get in trouble for.
I know, but what I'm saying is, women were raised like this episode, this skit that we just saw, and it's a parody, but we're raised from 8 years old
Maybe.
on. It's we're getting married, we're having a
Yeah.
husband, white
We're
picket
groomed
fence.
for the
We are
specifics,
groomed
yeah.
for this. He is going to drive to work every day. He's going to bring home while the wife makes the meal and does the laundry and all that other stuff. And that's stuff that you could resent nowadays.
for sure.
I would never expect my wife to make dinner. I probably make more dinners than she does. I would never expect her to
told
do.
that she doesn't.
But I would never expect her to do. She does laundry. I don't. I suck at it, but I cook
Can
and she
smell it.
doesn't. I take out the garbage and she cleans the living room. It's an equal thing. We're fine. We've come to this agreement. And there's no expectations of it. I don't know why you're laughing.
No
if she
idea.
went away next week, I would absolutely do the laundry, and if
Sure.
I was sick, she would absolutely.
We just
cook.
had this
We
conversation,
We just
like,
absolutely
yesterday,
have
yeah.
this thing. It's not a hidden
It's
thing.
a thing. Yeah.
She doesn't resent me for not doing laundry, and I don't resent her for not cooking dinner because we both occasionally do the other, which is just what we've kind of come
And
to an agreement with.
That about the doing the cooking or the cleaning and the laundry was a question we were talking about the other day about the same sort of situation, and I'm like, I'm guilty of it, and I don't know why.
You're not a laundry guy?
Yeah,
you are.
I'll do the laundry, I'll do the cleaning, do I do it anywhere near my wife does? No, not even close. But I do it. But it's a kind of an automatic of that's what the woman does. Do I expect her to? No, absolutely not. But you know what I mean? Like it's like a weird subconscious thing that you're like, well, they must like it because they do it.
I'm on a construction site right now. Currently, I'm on a project where I'm on a construction site. I am so busy every day with 100 kind of really
Don't say
important
that.
things. No, I am.
No, we had a
Who?
I'll come back to this.
We'll come back to this another time. You can tell me off air. Here's my point. I got I got a half a dozen guys right now who are like shoveling hard concrete off a floor, doing like horrible work. And at the end of the day, they're like, it's cold, it's awful, this is expected of me. Why is Keith not down here with a shovel? And I'm looking at him saying, I'll join you for a day.
I was there.
But if I do that, if I join you and take that job on, I'm going to miss out on my job, which is the job that creates that for you. Like and honestly, there are days where I would gladly pick up a shovel and all day long do that.
Yeah.
And trade the stress that I have for somebody to take my job on for the day. Like, please, I would actually pay money to shovel all the concrete for a day while they take on my load of stress. But they don't realize the other person's side of things.
What is this? Getting back to what this is the woman. This woman is basically stating that they're not just automatically bitchy. Men have created them.
We drive them to it.
Yeah. Now she's not wrong.
Nope.
The one part that I've had an interesting conversation with my wife about is I can't remember a time, if ever, I'm only speaking for me, that I woke up angry.
I never have.
Ever. I can't think. Maybe I have, but if that's the case, then it's none. Because it's not even enough to even justify saying this. Her, on the other hand, a lot.
Can we role play a minute?
Do I need to take off my shirt?
Yes, you do.
Where's the nipple tassels?
I have wanted to do this episode, and we'll throw in a 7-minute clip on it.
Before we end this, I can already tell, and this is probably where we should go with this. We're going to do a revisit of this episode with females.
We have to.
Yeah.
I want your wife for one, and I want my wife for one. Let's do it. But for now, this is going to be our TikTok bit. And I'm going to do a little something here. It's special. Get ready. Do the whole Chinese, oh my God. You ready for it? Hands on your cheeks.
I don't know how to
Jeff Bright.
What do you say?
I hope this is a TikTok piece because I'm about to get down on one knee. And I mean fancy ass one knee. Turn backing up.
Don't break anything.
Mic down. Jeff Bright.
Going down on me right now?
Oh my God, you called it. Will you marry me?
No.
I hope this... God.
I would. Male marry.
No is an acceptable answer. Now, let me talk you into it with some pros and cons.
Get off.
Let me get off my knee. All right, hang on.
Hang on while you're there.
Oh, yeah, gotta give the...
Gotta finish it off. Well, that's close enough.
The old I can't get it up noise.
Yeah, how disappointing. That's typical.
Let me give you, can we play a pros and cons? I'm going to give you all the reasons that you should marry me. This is you and me.
What does this got to do with this woman?
Everything. It has everything to do with it.
Okay. We still have another thing to listen to.
Yeah. No, I'm good. And I told you, I'll stick it to like 5 minutes. So let's go through this fast.
5 minutes.
If you marry me, right?
Yeah.
Tell me the number one very obvious reason why you wouldn't marry me.
Wouldn't?
Yeah.
I don't like men.
You're not. You don't want gay sex.
Yeah.
No gay sex. That's fine. We're nothing against that for those.
Yeah,
but you don't personally want that. No problem. You know what? We can still get married. Here's what I'm going to propose to you because I really want to marry you. I want to spend my life with you. So here's what I want to propose to you. You don't have to sleep with me, Jeff, right? You're allowed to have multiple girlfriends. Bring them to our house. I won't be jealous. I promise.
This is already happening. See, nothing new in my life. Come on.
Now.
Okay, fair enough.
No, but is there another reason maybe you wouldn't marry me?
Wouldn't?
Yeah.
No, because...
Well, that solves a lot of it.
Yeah.
But let's just say there is. But here's what I'm offering to you.
You probably snore. I'd snore.
I'll tell you what.
Separate bedrooms.
Separate bedrooms.
Yep.
I'm willing to provide this for you. Separate bedrooms. Now, you like motor cars.
You like handy.
No.
No.
But you can have any homie over anytime you want to get a handy. I'm cool.
You
with
wouldn't
it.
do it?
I personally, I personally wouldn't. But here's what I'm offering to you right now, as far as you and me getting married.
Okay.
You are allowed to continue doing your line of career.
Yep.
You can go motor crossing, which is what you enjoy to do. I don't want to be there. I don't even want to come watch you if it's okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm going to sunburn my head and blah, blah, blah. So you go do your thing. I'm a Vegas guy. You're more of a dirt bike guy. Like you go do that. We'll do separate vacations.
Yep.
But you like boating?
Yeah.
I love boating. Let's buy a boat together.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah.
You pick. I don't care. It's a boat's a boat.
I don't care either.
Right?
Let's just
If you want to
roulette
have your friends on the boat, me and my friends on the boat, you can have guys, I can have girls.
Schedule it
I'm,
up,
I'm
yep.
good with your, or we can both have girls. Don't matter. And tell you what, if you get one and I happen to be attracted to her, we can share that girl.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, you're cool. We'll buy a house together. Nice house. Like I'm talking man cave, pool tables, couple big screen TVs in every master bedroom. If there's a bigger room, you can have it.
Yeah.
Maybe down the road, I'll take the
I
basement.
don't need a bigger room.
Yeah, wait. Me neither.
I'm not picky.
Don't matter. I'm not sure.
I need a bed.
Right. We're just there's a lot of benefits to you and I getting married. We would have financially pretty good success.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that if you closed a really big real estate deal, I'd be like high-fiving you.
Yeah.
Right? You buy the gas for the boat this month. Right? Yeah, you get the Wagyu steaks.
Yeah.
And if I get something really successful, we're going to praise each other on. If you're in a bad mood for a day,
I know where this is going.
if you're in a bad mood for it, you come home, you had a deal gone bad. And you walk in the house. Are you going to walk in the house and look at me and say, Keith Bears, you're a piece of shit?
Well, my wife would go down.
You're a no, the point is, you're going to come in.
Yeah, no.
If I have a bad
definitely
day, I'm not going to come home and take it out on you. I might be in a bad mood, but I'm just going to
vent,
I'm
but
just
not
going to
on
go
me.
off to my bedroom. I'll vent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm certainly not going to attack you. I'm just going to go off to my room and be like, damn this day. But I'm not going to come home and blame you in any way.
Yeah.
Can you think of any downfalls to us getting married at this point?
Yeah, I don't.
So here's the thing. Revisiting this, I kept it. I'm watching the clock and I kept it to 6 minutes.
That's okay.
If I were to make a comedy skit saying, me and Jeff got married and he made me this way. Why did you make me this way? Can you think of any reason for the marriage I just described where we don't take our bad days on at each other?
You be this way.
Man, if you're having a bad day, go to your room. Like take it. The point is, we can talk politics, we can talk religion, we can talk work. If you have a bad day, you can vent to me, but not take it out on me.
That's a valid point.
Right? We can share finances. We can look at each other and say, you know what? I don't have a jealousy issue. If you're interested in females instead of males, you go ahead and bring as many home as you want. In fact, when you're done with them, send them to my room.
Yeah.
Like we'd probably high five each other and compare notes afterwards, and we'd be fine.
Yeah.
But there would never be a comedy sketch where a guy could get up on stage and describe that marriage and say, Jeff Bright, what did he do wrong? We both, it was kind of a cool thing. So there's some resentment here. There's some angst and anger and buildup of he made me. You don't know what you're talking about, Steve. Well, I guess Steve just sat back and as an 8-year-old said, while she's planning the perfect Here Comes the Bride march in her white dress, I'm going to plan, how do I screw this girl over? We don't do that. I have never woke up in the morning in a bad mood. I've never woke up in the morning and said, how do I screw my wife over? How do I make her miserable today? How do I blame her for life's problems?
Yeah.
I don't do that.
I'm sure there is guys, but I don't ever hear of it.
No, man.
I don't hear it. I don't know. Even with the guy, I'm just basing off the men that I know, because we would have no problem saying that, in general conversation.
We pissed each other off. We've been friends for years. We just call each other on our crap. Or we don't talk for 2 months and it's like, hey, you want a whiskey? Fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done.
But I don't get up and do a comedy sketch on what a dickhead Jeff Bright is.
No. And I think because there's a movement on that, that's a very good kind of feminist movement on male hating. And some of it is justified. You know what I'm saying? Because there are
popcorn.
There are some douchey guys. There's a lot of douchey guys.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the conversation I had with my wife about this is that she based a lot of her conversation on those guys.
Oh,
right.
Do you mean?
But nobody else.
Do you mean like one particular race blaming another race for something that happened years ago and genericize? This is how all of you are.
The rest of the men got umbrellaed.
Yep. Oh, umbrella's a good word.
Right over everybody, and I'm not taking that away because that is definitely something.
See what I did there? Where I wasn't a dick about it. It just made you a nice one.
You're the girl in this relationship.
Here you go. Here's a little more.
Okay. All right, now you're a man.
All right.
So that's a very interesting conversation because I was kind of taken aback by some of that about how it was. I thought different.
What do you mean?
Like about how my wife would respond to it.
To that video we just watched?
Yeah, and there's another one that's
Walk
coming
me
up.
through that if you would.
Well, just because of the fact that is that this video or the other video?
I don't. This is the one.
Oh,
where
it's the other video more so.
She was
more
mad.
so.
She was mad.
This one she was like, no, she was definitely on.
She took your side. Oh, that's good.
It's on a side. I made a point. So what my point was about the little girl on the playground, because it's funny having a son who's 13 now. Her what she's teaching him is, you stay away from girls because they're bitches. They can be cruel. They can be.
His mom is teaching him that girls can be cruel and bitchy.
Because they are. They can be.
You shut your mouth. What?
Yeah, saying it, preaching it, and living it.
Are you about to tell
you
me
know
there's
why?
movies out there called Mean Girls? That it's a society standard?
That's a movie, which is
Based
kind of bang on.
Have you seen a movie called Mean Boys?
No, Lost Boys.
Yeah, they're vampires.
Yeah, but they're lost.
Yeah.
They're legit lost because of what's going on in their life. So the point was, okay, that wasn't.
It's societally accepted.
It's
a
not
movie
even-
like
it's a
movie like
fact.
a movie like Mean Girls sells out at the box office because everybody's like, it's funny because it's true, and they go watch it. And these high school girls are catty to not just men but to other women. They're just mean and catty and blah
They can
blah blah.
be. Some can be.
Yeah, that's not to say there's not a group of bully boys out there like
Have
frat
you-
boys. You got bullied. You just said.
Have you ever had a mean girl
Yeah.
as a kid? Now let's go back 10 to 11 to 13-ish. 12, 13-ish, let's say. And back then, that's when, puberty starts hitting, hormones are hitting. But have you ever been in a situation where the girl was like, oh my God, you're so cute, I like you, and her friend gives you a letter, and you're like, blah, blah, blah,
Oh,
and it's a joke?
Hangs her underwear in the flagpole?
Yeah.
I did.
So,
I got sweet revenge.
okay, but before that, that's
Can happen.
mean person.
Yep.
Do guys do that? Maybe. Probably more so than girls. So, but I guess we're talking about the girls' perspective. They are mean at that age. So this girl talking about little girls are not angry. They're not bitches. They're not anything. Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah.
They're horrible. They are horrible, horrible, horrible. They will rip your heart out, spit down your throat, and laugh at you and put your picture up in commencement.
We did a whole other episode on this a couple episodes ago, but I want to just a quick side point here. My nephew, who is an avid sports guy, coaches right now. He's a coach for women's hockey, not women's hockey, teenage girl hockey. But we were recently at a sportings event. We both like to gamble on sports. I'm
No.
I'm going to say that this is a legit thing. There is a guy on BetMGM or DraftKings or whatever, online gambling, who has become generational wealth on gambling, and here's how he did it. And this is a true story. He studied women's hockey and women's all he bet on was women's sports.
Yeah.
And it's a thing where when a group of women hang together, they all kind of get their cycles at the same time. This is a well-known thing out there.
Yeah.
He studied when women's teams would have their cycle. So if you're, I don't know, Alabama women's basketball,
Brilliant.
he would look and say the third week of every month, Alabama gets their periods. And he would just know they're not going to do well that week. And I'm telling you, this guy made millions betting against the menstrual cycles of women's sports teams. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's no science.
Okay, wait a minute. So are you saying that during a woman's menstrual cycle, they become
A little unreasonable.
a little unreasonable? You saying that?
I don't. Well, this comedian, for example, may have just gathered.
Have you
Yeah.
personally experienced that?
Never. That's never happened to me, Jeff, right?
Okay. So we can, I don't even think it's unanimous across the board between male and females. The female can become more.
They're the first to tell you, not during. But they're the first to
After,
tell you.
well, as soon as they apologize.
A week later, they'd be like,
some
I
don't.
may have been a little unreasonable.
Okay. So that's becoming a thing, and that they preach this. Like this has become a standard thing. So how is that created by men?
You mean we might be getting punished for our reaction to their actions?
Now that's only one situation. Like their menstrual cycles, one situation.
There are asshole men out there.
Yeah.
There are men who do bad things who deserve everything this woman is saying.
Yeah. We're not. Yeah. Once again, we're not saying all
maybe this comedian woman who just said this thing, maybe she was married to an alcoholic, abusive, douchebag, narcissist who cheated on her all the time.
That's not what
justified,
was said.
but that's not what was said.
Yeah.
She is speaking to the masses. Yeah. She's blanketing and umbrelling, and she's saying, this is what society knows to be true, and that is the man is wrong here. He created this. He created this. This is why we don't. Let's play your second clip.
Okay, I was just going to say, let's do the second one. I got an emergency situation.
By that, do you mean?
I'm not going to do it because I'm going to get in trouble. The one agent doesn't know how to take me yet because I'm like, you just tell her off. You just tell her to eat the big one and go ahead. And he's like, I can say that?
No, don't. Please do not.
Don't say that.
Yes. Oh my God, if half the people that asked me for advice took it,
I know.
Verbatim,
nobody talks about is that.
Okay, here's
you got
this. So this is the second part to all this.
Clip number 2.
Clip number 2. See what you think. Hopefully this comes across.
Talks about is that women start going through hormonal changes.
You think women are out here in their 40s just randomly divorcing men because they're going through hormonal changes? Are you fucking serious? I think that this is just gaslighting. You know what I'm saying? Because we're out here, we know exactly why we're divorcing you motherfuckers. And it's not because we're going through hormone changes. It's because we realize our worth. We get sick of your shit. That's what we're doing. All of the lies and the conflict and the miscommunication and the infidelity and the lack of support and feeling like we are shouldering the emotional burden for the entire relationship because you can't just fucking be an adult. Okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to excuse myself for a minute and go puke.
Devil's advocate.
Should we do devil's advocate?
No.
Can I? 30 seconds. I need 30 seconds.
Okay.
I follow a divorce lawyer on TikTok. He's great. He really, one of these reasonable guys, doesn't talk with emotion, right? And somebody looks at him and says, do you ever represent the wives in a divorce? And he's like, never. I never would. And they're like, why not?
Wow.
And he said, I'll tell you why. When a man comes in, he looks and says, how do I keep this equal for my kids? How do I just get out of here 50-50 reasonable? Does it take me sacrificing? And then he looks and says, the divorce lawyer says, I don't represent women because juggler. Yeah. You're exactly right.
Go right for the
I want these kids. I want child support. I want it. This guy's going to fucking burn. And if I get everything I asked for, I'm going to want more afterwards because it's not rational. It's emotional.
And that's not everyone. We're not saying everyone, but it's a lot.
If you're talking umbrellas in this episode, that's a majority.
It's a majority. And I can argue that point just because of my clients alone goes through this all the time.
We've all seen it. We don't need to justify it because we've all seen it.
That being said, what that woman had just said, I don't know if that she thinks that's true or she's just making a parody
because it's true to her.
Now, I had the same conversation with my wife, and she took her side on this one.
Okay, walk me through that.
Men are, about women finding their worth, about how useless men are, and doing that sort of a thing, where it became like they're not emotionally there for women, they're not physically there for women, they're not not bragging, but they're coming home after a day's work, sitting down, saying, "Don't talk to me. I need my time to relax. Give me a beer." And sit and do nothing. Well, meanwhile, she's worked. She went and picked up the kids. She went and grabbed the groceries. She's cooking the meal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those men are
She's
dicks.
right. Those men are dicks.
She's absolutely right. The problem is that it wouldn't get off of that. It's almost like every man was that way. Which I don't know hardly any that are like that to this day. Like I can't.
I do. Do you know where I know them from? Law and Order. CSI,
TV,
movies and TV, which was what we all watched. The Man is the Dickhead. I'm going to throw you one here. I don't know that I sent you this, and this is the greatest thing ever.
Factory lines.
Jeff Bright. I watched The Greatest Thing. I recently, I'm not going to say got in trouble. I won't say got in trouble, but I'm a realist. So I was watching this. We travel a lot, my wife and I, and we recently went into Hollywood Studios. So we were on the set of Gilmore Girls, and we saw, Wisteria Lane doesn't exist. It's a studio. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. recently, and I watched my wife's favorite movie is P.S. I Love You. And as you know, last year I went to Ireland and we toured the
explains a
whole
lot.
thing. And I know it's a rom-com thing. She's a big rom-commer, and you gotta
so
love
be
her
it.
for it. You know, thank God she's not like me, or we'd both be fighting Vietnam vets and looking for old POW camps.
Morning,
right?
Vietnam.
Yeah, Adrian Cronauer. That's Rob Williams' character. Anyway,
Such a useless knowledge.
it is really. So I saw this thing and I'm like, because when we were in Ireland, I'm like, where is this cabin? Like,
Yeah.
bearskin rug, fireplace, blah, blah, blah. And then this clip came up and I'm like, oh my God, it was a movie set. The only thing that existed was the front wall and the front door. That's just, and I'm like, sent it to my wife.
Yeah.
2 weeks we didn't speak to each other.
Yep.
No, I'm exaggerating, but it was bad. It was bad. It was how dare you take the romanticism out of that for me? You know that's my favorite movie. Why would you do this? I'm like, I didn't mean any harm. I thought we were sharing an interesting fact.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't mean any harm by it, but it was bad.
This is
Jeff
the same
Bridges.
at Christmas time when all the Christmas movies come out and how we've talked about this a little bit, but how
he'll be waiting for me next year at this time.
And you know what?
Do you know how many chicks he's bagging over the next year while he's waiting?
that's reality for the most part. Or he's sitting at home playing Jenga
I
or
can't
Call
wait.
of Duty or something.
Right.
But the funny thing is there's nothing better. And I just, because I'm probably like most, because I hate watching those ones. I just don't.
It's not realistic.
It's not a real thing.
realism, yeah.
But there's nothing better than watching it and then your wife going, giving you the eye.
Do you know what I couldn't survive without? I
look what he's
couldn't
doing.
survive without my wife holding on to that romanticism.
Yeah, you could.
No, I couldn't.
You could, and you have, and you're going to after. Your next wife will be the same thing. You will get over it. She probably won't have that
You're
thing
such a dick.
because you're not going to pick that same thing again.
You need, you know what you need? You need your wife to make your tree look good at Christmas. You need
Make
your
what?
wife, your Christmas tree. You need her to make your Christmas tree look good at Christmas. You need her to to teach your kid about the Easter bunny and do all those things. You need that because without
No,
it,
I
he would.
don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I know that you're saying you don't, but we need them to bring us back down to, yes, there is a Santa Claus. Yes, there is an Easter bunny. Yes, there is rom-com moments. We need that, Jeff, right? It grounds us because as Martians, as men who live this, we're too cynical. And we are. Two of us as a couple, we'd have the nicest boat. We'd have 20-year-olds dancing in bikinis. But you know what we
I
wouldn't
love
have?
where you're.
We wouldn't necessarily have, we wouldn't be able to raise kids and say they are going to benefit society because our kids would be douchebags. No, they would.
No.
They would grow up to
No.
womanize. They would grow up to
Your
take
kid
advantage of situations.
Oh, sorry.
You be careful here because I'm telling you. Yeah.
Bad example. No, I think there is some form of grounding that needs to happen, but the rom-coms do not need to happen whatsoever.
I don't know.
They don't, because you know what? I am a romantic.
Oh yeah, my God, are you ever? Can you repeat? Can you just summarize that last TikTok for me in 10 seconds?
The last one that we watched?
The last one.
I can pretty much prove to you that's all fake.
No,
That's not true.
what was the?
Oh, summarize
Bring me
it.
back. Summarize it.
Sorry, they think women are divorcing men because of their hormonal.
What a coincidence! She's saying
that's not true.
What a coincidence that men are blaming women for all divorces at the age of 45 years old. And what a coincidence! This isn't a coincidence, and blah blah blah. And I'm saying, hey, listen, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, there's a good chance it's a duck.
Well, the best part of that conversation was she was saying, we think we're walking around here hormonal. Like you are.
Yes,
But that's just the biological aspect of life. You're anywhere from 30 to
There's
60.
Nothing.
You are.
Nothing wrong with it. There's
No.
nothing wrong
It's
with it.
I went through it. I've been through it. I know how it reacts, and I can 100% see why there's a huge divorce rate. And it's not because the guy is sitting there saying, "Give me a beer," to his menopausal woman.
Do you know what I was doing 10 years ago today?
It's not that.
Just
Fight.
you don't have to answer this. Just generically, there's a hypothetical. 10 years ago today, did I have just yes or no answers, please? Did I have the same career I have now?
Mm-mm.
No, I did not. 10 years ago
No.
today, did I have the same wife I have now?
Yes.
You're an asshole. I
No.
didn't. No, I didn't have the same wife.
Oh, the same wife? No.
No.
Sorry.
I didn't have the same career. I didn't have the same wife.
No.
10 years ago today, you and I were really good friends. Did I have a boat or a cottage?
No.
Okay. So are you saying that 10 years ago today, I was a completely different person?
No.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
I had the same
You're the
moral
same-
standards and same sense of
You know
humor.
what?
and
F
the
you.
same.
You know why? Because I had the same person ask me the same thing. You're the same person.
Yep.
You have different.
My circumstances
Outsides.
have changed.
Yeah.
Are we still friends?
No.
We're not friends anymore?
No, we're
Fuck.
business partners.
You're such a
We're
dick.
married and we're
I'm
business
actually
partners.
going to leave here
Got a
sad
prenup.
if you don't.
Prenup.
If I'm going to leave here sad if you don't change that. We're buddies.
No, absolutely.
You're such
At
a
1,000%.
TikTok's going to pick that up and think these guys aren't even buddies
That's what's going
anymore.
to cut off.
We're like Simon and Garfunkel.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Where are you getting with
You're
this?
Garfunkel, by the way.
The fat one. Thanks.
With
I
the-
appreciate
with the
that.
afro.
The fat one.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Here's the point.
I've been bullied even in my adult years. Yeah,
We have grown. We have changed.
Yeah.
And as friends,
Because
we have
a woman?
adapted. No. Forget about it.
Oh.
Forget about women altogether. You were somewhere different 10 years ago than you are right now.
Adapted.
Well, you were a different parent at a different age. You had a same career, but different stature of your career. We have changed. We have grown. We were somewhere different 10 years ago, but together, we're still buddies. We've made our way through it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't resent you for anything 10 years ago. I don't. In fact, we've grown together. And we like each other more probably than we did 10
Yeah.
years ago. We've always been friends, but we like each other 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Where I'm going with this is we've grown and adapted to each other. I don't expect you to be the same person you were 10 years ago. And I get this argument all the time, as does the person in this video. You weren't like that on our first date. When we first met, you weren't this person. Good.
No, that's a whole, yeah. That's all. Man, I had that conversation this morning. It's very interesting. I always say this, but it's actually true. I had this conversation about how when you're in a relationship, the longer you are, it diminishes as far as the honeymoon.
People
stage.
change, Jeff.
Yeah.
People change. Change with
Nothing
them.
wrong with it.
You grow, you adapt, you change with them. We're allowed to have two different perspectives on things, but we can talk about it and still have a whiskey afterwards and shoot the breeze. We can agree to disagree. Can you do that with your wife?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how does it
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
Does it immediately? Is it okay?
If we agree to do, no, I mean, it's still a good argument about it, but in the end, it's kind of like we completely disagree with each other. But then we literally have this conversation of like, okay, you believe this, I believe this. It's okay.
Okay.
Because we can have different opinions.
So you haven't had a
Had
a fight with your wife in the last 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm saying that's where it ends. That's where we get to. That's where we come around.
So your wife
We
is
both
going to
agree.
get someday. She's going to lose her marbles and get on TikTok and make a video and say, "Men are suppressive. Men do this. Men do this."
can't.
And she's going to do. She can
because
Jeff,
this
right.
This is perfection.
There's going to be
No.
There's going to be a venting session where men are dicks. And don't get me wrong, you're an
No,
asshole.
absolutely.
I'm an asshole. We've done things
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
but to umbrella it and say men are
Yeah.
this.
See, that's
Hey,
the problem.
Hang on, hold the phone.
But yeah, no, I agree. 1,000% agree with that. Don't umbrella, but also, like I think you said it earlier, coincidentally, between the ages of 40 and 50, 40 and 60, there's a lot of hormonal changes going on.
We talked about a video. I
Maybe.
want you to tell the
Maybe.
story. I want you to tell the
Maybe.
story because it was yours. But this is a true thing. We were talking about the man at the end of the bar with that look of death in his eye versus the lesbian at the end of the bar. Can you please repeat the story? Repeat the story to me.
I don't know where
tell it.
why that has anything to do with this. But,
does.
Oh, it kind of does. Eek. Okay, so this was a comedian, and
Yep.
he had said, if you look at the end of you go to a bar, and you look at the guy sitting by himself at the end of the bar, having a drink, he's defeated. Yeah,
The
his
look of
face is-
defeat.
he's by himself, he's defeated, he's sitting there. The same bar, at a table, you see two gay guys.
No, two gay girls.
No, not yet.
Oh.
Two gay guys. Best ever. Best life ever.
Married 20 years.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're having a fun time. They're buying each other drinks. They're dancing. They're talking to other people. They're having a great
true.
time. The two guys are having the best time of their lives. Even if they've been together 5 years or 10 years, I don't know, kind of whatever. Now, look at a table that has two lesbians. And
20 years of marriage.
one of those lesbians is sitting there defeated.
The look of defeat.
Now, look at that girl and look at the guy at the end of the bar.
Oh,
And his point was, you think it's the guy? You think it's the guy's fault, or is the girls have the problem? I'm not saying.
you are saying, and I'm saying,
I just repeated what
and
he
we're
said.
on air and we're scared to say it. Menopause. doesn't that directly sound like menopause to you?
So
But we're not allowed to say that.
As a male, no, as a male, I can say I will argue that point of, because I've had this argument before. I don't wake up mad.
I don't wake up mad.
My wife can wake up mad, and then it's a fight. That's not. I didn't pick that. I didn't choose that for the day. I would never do that.
Controversial.
So-
You throw me under the bus, so I'm going to do the same right now. I apologize in advance. But it's okay because you get forgiven a lot faster than I do. You looked and I'm like, hey, are you in trouble for your action or your reaction to her action?
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
like, oh
That's
my
the
God,
thing.
Keith Barris.
Well, that was flipped the other time.
That's no. That's what you said. You're like, oh my God, Keith Barris. That's a valid argument.
No, that
You
is a
didn't-
valid argument. Yeah.
Are you in trouble for your action or your reaction to her action?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that your wife's a bad
No, that's
person.
the
Your wife's
thing.
not a bad person, but sometimes you wake up to something that's
blink twice if she beats me. Blink twice if she keeps me in the basement. Yeah. No, that's a very valid point. That's a whole other topic.
Listen,
but
you have absolutely. We're buddies, and we
I
don't
like
talk
that,
about
though.
this.
I like
but
it.
I know that you've raised your voice. I know that you've probably said a swear. I know that you've probably
said a swear.
said a swear.
Oh my God, Grandpa. Grandpa Keith, talk to me.
I know that you've probably been a douchebag, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
We both have.
Everyone
we
has,
both
yeah.
know it. But in all my years with you, I've seen you. We've gone out for lunch one day where I'm like, I got home and I looked at Orlean and I'm like, yeah, he was having a bad day.
Yeah.
Like he was a bit of a dick
But
today.
at what level of that would be? It's
You're
still,
just venting. You're a bit of a douche.
no, but it wouldn't
or you
even
had a
be
bad
aggressive.
day. No, it wasn't
would
aggressive.
never have been like
It's
someone
just like,
freak it out.
Do you know? Actually, you know what I did, and this has happened where I've gotten home and I'm like I've you've popped in my truck. I haven't seen you in a while. Hey Jeff, I got this new real estate day. Yeah, it's gonna fail. That's
Yeah.
stupid, Keith. You're an idiot. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh okay. Like he had a bit. So I go home and I'm like,
No, it's not a bad day.
wasn't
It's the
the best hangout day. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't ignore you for 10 weeks afterwards. We didn't have a falling out. It was just like, oh, you had a bad day.
Oh, that's a whole different
Do you know what happened?
thing. Yeah.
We had a 2-hour lunch. I'm like, yeah, I got a thing. I got to go.
Yeah.
And we were fine.
Yeah.
But if it happens in a
I
marriage,
feel
it's
like a woman
no.
holds on to that.
Like it can
Well,
be a thing.
you know, we
It
had
can be
that
a thing.
conversation too about why men. She's like, why don't you ever tell me anything? I'm like, I don't know. We just don't. We just deal with it.
Safety.
'Cause no, but I already know. I have the conversation in my head. Okay, this is wrong. This is what I did wrong. This is what you did wrong. We're not going to come to each other's senses. You know what I mean? Done.
Already played out
Because
the
the next conversation about that same thing still leads in the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
There's no reasonable conversation to be having. If I can look at it and say, no good can come
Okay,
from this.
so getting back to the whole thing, are women general bitches?
no.
No. So, do you think men cause them bitchiness?
No.
Yes, they do.
I don't.
Can they? Yes. Everyone
Sure.
can.
Sure.
Men can be men.
So can your
men
boss. So
so
can a
can
doctor. So can a
everybody
building
else.
inspector.
So the point to that is, are little girls around 10 years old bitches?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's not caused by a guy.
No.
Maybe indirectly.
Teenage girls, preteens
They're cruel.
are cruel. Teenage girls are cruel.
Yeah.
Girls in their 20s are cruel. Women have expectations. They have standards that are set way too high.
Yeah.
They have ideals and beliefs that are not achievable. And when you don't attain to those, you're to be punished for them.
Have you seen two women argue? Off the charts.
Off the charts.
What happens when two guys fight?
One punch.
Yeah.
And probably having a beer afterwards going,
We're not. Yeah, well, old school. We're old school.
Old
We would
school.
do that. Not new, now. You would get your buddies and call, and then call the insurance company and get lawyers
Right.
involved and sue everybody.
right.
But that's the whole point. So women are nasty. Not all of them. Please don't take it that way. We're not doing absolutes. We're saying it's a way different situation. Now, I would love to have a female's perspective on this. So
Our last 2 episodes we're going to revisit with your wife and with my wife.
yeah, because I think we have to, and I think actually there's more people I want to get involved because I think they'd be more opinionated on this because they're very, dare I say, feministic,
Can we?
and I want that approach.
Can we honestly?
I want that.
I really do want to wrap this up. God, we did some really long episodes today, but let's be honest here. If your wife were sitting right here and we were having this episode,
Yeah.
and she was extremely opinionated on, no, you snore, and you tell me how to cook dinner. Can you be real? If I'm sitting here questioning you, can you be real? Can you have this conversation?
1000%.
I can't.
Yeah, because for me, I don't mind getting attacked like that. But what I don't like getting attacked is if it's false, or if it's over embellished, or over. You know what I mean? Like if it was, you never cook. Well, yeah, I do. I cook probably a good portion of the meals, if not half.
That's fair.
So that would be my defense. I would no question stand up for myself and be real.
Yep.
Yeah. Not even a question.
It's a little nerve-wracking to do this, but we do need to involve guest.
I'm a little scared on your end.
No, I hear you. That's even just saying this is bad, but I would literally look and say, listen, I'm okay being truthful. I'm okay airing dirty laundry, and that's not always okay.
Okay, well so let's get off on topic.
Yeah.
So the first one is, are women normally bitchy? No, but they're the more bitchier. And is it all guys' fault that they're bitchy? I don't believe that story at all. Does it happen? For sure. For sure.
Go ahead.
But second of all, the last statement is their hormones don't create divorces and issues in relationships in their...
They 100% do.
Yeah.
They 100% do.
Yeah. You know,
1,000
that's probably the catalyst of the
1,000,000,000%.
majority. If you look at statistically,
What a coincidence.
Why did you divorce? What a
That
coincidence.
menopause starts between 45 and 55, and all divorces are between 45
no hormones.
What a coincidence.
Even if it's not that high, it's still coincidental.
walks
It's
like a
it's
duck
a
and talks like a
thing.
duck.
It's still a thing. Shame on you for saying it's not.
Very, very, very quickly, and we should wrap it up. Holy cow, I love these episodes, though. I like that they're long. We were between episodes. We just happened to be downstairs, and rarely do we interrupt our episodes when we do 3 or 4 back to back. But we bumped into your wife, and I said, "Oh my God, what an interesting subject we just had."
Yeah.
5-minute conversation. I'm like, this, and this, and she's like, "My husband snores. My husband breathes too loud." But actually, what she said was, "My husband's a dick because he tells me I breathe wrong, and he tells me I eat with my mouth open." And you're sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh, looks like Jeff Bright's a bit of a dick."
Yeah.
Here's the point. During an episode, if your wife were sitting right here with this mic and that mic stand, the flesh knob over
Carry
there.
on.
If she looked and said, "My husband calls me out on eating with my mouth open," you would look here and go, "You're right, I do that."
Yeah, if it's true.
You would.
For sure I would.
And if my wife were sitting here and say, "My husband is," when, she
She's
looks at me.
never saying that.
Who?
Your wife.
No.
She's
She,
never
absolutely
saying
she would.
that.
No, absolutely she would.
My
If
wife,
she were
my
sitting
husband
here,
is perfect.
No, she would.
Guaranteed.
No, she would, because I'm anywhere far from perfect.
I know, but you say that, but in the grand, we got to get her drinking.
No, this is true. We should get her drinking out here. But my wife,
we're going to air some dirty
this
laundry.
is a very valid point, and I would say it in front of her. 28 days a month, my wife would sit here and say, "My husband's an angel. My husband's perfect." But on those 3 days, and it's kind of like somebody drinking for a night where the realist comes out. Then it would air the dirty laundry.
But
No,
then you're just
my
defending
husband-
yourself.
Who, me?
Yeah, at that point.
No, this is the point. This is what I just asked you, and I'm very glad that you said that. I looked at you and said, your wife said that you will call her out on snoring too loud or breathing too loud or eating too loud. And you're like, "Yep, I do."
Yeah, but so you wouldn't call her out on those 3 days or 5 days?
You're getting me off topic.
Okay,
Where
sorry.
I'm going with this is, if your wife were sitting here and said, "My husband gets mad at me for breathing too loud," you'd be like, "Yes, I do."
Gotcha.
And if my wife were sitting here and said, "My husband 3 days a month says that, he's not sleeping in the same bed with me," I'd say, "Yes, that's accurate."
Okay.
There's everything that you're saying right now, sweetie, is true. That is valid. I would.
I know, but
I would say it.
That's not
because
what you
it's
would say.
valid.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I looked at her and said, "One day a month, you will wake up and scream at me for sniffling too loud at the table or wiping my nose during dinner,"
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah.
But
you do. and
we
you
can't
have.
even have this conversation. Conversation's
gotcha,
over.
Gotcha.
Because I'm willing to admit my faults. I'm willing
Yeah.
to admit, sometimes I'm unreasonable. Sometimes maybe that's a bad thing of me. I can admit that. But I guarantee, and I hope that we can clip this into her clip when she's on this as a guest star one day and say, "Hey," she can look at me and say, sometimes you get mad at me for breathing too loud. That's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens. I apologize. That's my bad. But if I called her on it, I bet you'd be opposite. And it's interesting to see. I hope that we have them on here.
That's interesting.
Because I think we can admit our faults. I think you did it downstairs. Like, yeah, you know what? Because you do snore, bitch. And I'm like, oh, Jeff, that's bad. But you're not wrong.
No, absolutely. That's yeah. No, I'll never admit I don't snore.
If we had, circling back to the beginning of the episode, if we had a gay marriage, I'd be like, yeah, we're getting different rooms. You snore, Dick.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's enjoy our boat.
Cigars and
Good
whiskey.
episode. We are both divorced.
Cheers, my friend. We're both divorced.